Okay, so how you doing, guys? We're back here with Bedouin Banter on Khalid Dosari. ومعاي طبعا the infamous
Yo, it's OJ, man.
OJ,
It's
and
OJ.
today on the live feed with the phone and the Instagrams is
Yeah, we're doing a trial.
Metrouk. Our new trial here today with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm coming in for a new segment and hopefully a new formatted show, but not in many differences, not many respects. Just trying to up the game here as far as content or as far as at least technical savvy, which has been bullshit all through a night. So far, all through it has been somewhat. But yeah, inshallah, we'll give everybody the show they want for, because we've been posing a lot of questions to people all throughout the week.
Yes, we have.
Some in private. Most of them I have actually not read. We'd like some people to ask questions here on the live feed. I don't know if anybody can hear me from over there, Matrouk, but let me know, because you're the only one with a camera. We tried to do the three-way camera thing today, and we're never good.
Three ways don't usually work.
They don't work out for us.
Yeah,
never.
it's problematic. It's very problematic. Yeah.
All right, so
I can't even have a three-way when it's three guys. That's how sad my life is.
So-
Okay. Go ahead. What are you saying?
So yeah, we're live at this moment right now. And you guys tune in. We have a segment that we're gonna discuss, which is the segment is called "Girls Ask Khaleeji Guys."
Yes.
Where they got a bunch of questions, and we're first gonna talk about the Saudi women driving, and then we're just gonna sort of segue into the segments.
Big congratulations to them.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Big congratulations to Saudi women.
Get ready for Mishawir from your house.
Man, I was just telling the guys, actually, everybody was here when I came back from work. Every Saudi woman was driving in my compound. Kil wahed, everybody mtaki, and they're just enjoying the whole day, the afternoon. I think I saw a bunch of them that were either here to learn lessons, then محجبات, يعني like full burqa, everything.
Yeah.
So it was really odd to see it first, but I also think the other thing I saw was maybe some of the women that were maybe single coming over, finding some freedom now.
Ooh,
To enjoy
single.
Bahrain. Yeah.
سيدة ما يستحي.
That's good for the economy and good for everything else.
Good for
I guess.
Metrouk's economy.
Yeah, it's very good for my economy.
Yeah.
No, I joke, guys, I joke.
So yeah, guys, inputs, feedback. How's the live feed going?
We have only one person, Taby4.
How you doing, Taby?
How you
Hala
doing?
Taby.
Yeah.
How you doing, Tai-Bai?
I think we might have lost most people on the original live feed, or maybe it doesn't notify people.
Did we? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
know.
Maybe try to give an invite or two, see what
I'm
happens.
still new to this whole social media thing.
Go ahead and try to give an invite to see what happens. But in any case, we had an original feed. It went down. The cameras weren't working, so we're just going to stick with one today and hopefully get a better one next time. Shalaikum, Shal. What's up with the driving?
The driving?
Bahrainis, يعني as Bahrainis. What do you
I
feel?
don't know, man. It's weird. Like, it's like for the past couple of hours, yani, the whole feed was just filled with congratulations and women driving and all that. That's really great, but well, my only concern, are you looking at me like that?
He has a fucking sour face. I can already see it.
He always has a
I
sour
know.
face.
No, it's been ramped up. It's been ramped up this week.
See?
So maybe it's the women. I don't know. Maybe it's more Saudis in his life. He's pissed off.
It's not that. It's just that we're gonna have like double the cars right now.
Yeah, double the cars, double the money, man.
See, that was my first point. We're gonna have a lot of cars now. But then again, I don't know who told me this, but someone mentioned a point that we're gonna have less cars here because more Bahraini women are gonna go to Saudi because they can drive there. But I don't know if that's true.
That is bullshit, man.
You think it is, but just wait.
No. IKEA's
wait.
opening up here like this summer.
what?
Who's gonna go to Saudi? What's the reason to go there?
I don't know, but
There'll be one time.
I have spoken to a lot of girls who were like, "Oh, I'd love to go to Saudi now that I can drive."
They'd
I'm
love
like,
to because they've never gone.
Exactly,
And then they find out within the first freaking
Well,
week.
I don't know. Then now they have a cinema now, as if we don't.
Yeah, because everybody here was just dying to go to cinemas.
Look,
in Saudi.
what I just believe that people like to go places they haven't.
Yes, yeah, they
been
do.
to.
They do. But are they gonna they're not
Are
gonna
they gonna
drive all the way to
consistently-
Medan Saleh? I bet you not.
I bet you probably not.
But I have a question. I know some Saudi women who got their license in Bahrain.
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is. My sister got it in Bahrain.
Yeah.
A bunch of people get it in Bahrain.
Oh, but they couldn't drive like before.
They can drive. They can drive in Bahrain while they're here.
Oh, okay.
So the driver might bring them over, and they
Uh-huh.
end up getting to Bahrain, and then they drop them off, and they start driving on their own. So that's it. by any. There's a different kind of freedom if you can get like if your family is already cool with you and you can get the someone التصريح to just leave the country on your own without mahram or something, and you can hopefully you can just drive to Bahrain whenever you want to. So,
Wallah.
Yeah.
Is it like do they give Saudi women Bahraini license? Well, do you have to be like two passports?
These questions are too intelligent for you. Is this what we're getting from the feed or from?
No, I'm not. That's not what we're getting. That's not what we're
This sounds too like.
It was like Metro, you're too dumb for this.
How do they feel about driving, Khaled? How does that work?
I'm multitasking here.
Yeah,
psychologically speaking.
What was the question again? What is it?
Yani, if you have a Saudi passport, as a woman, can you do they give you like a license in Bahrain?
Yes, of course they do.
Really?
Yes. Why wouldn't they? My sister has one. Mm-hmm. I know that for a fact. I know a bunch of people got. My mother back in the day, like the one time my mother ever drove was like in the States. She got her license, and then my dad drove her crazy for a week, and then 20 years after she never drove again.
Wow.
Not once again. But you can get driver's licenses abroad. That's the same.
Yeah. But I know some Saudi women who actually like not driving.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to drive. I have the driver. He takes me everywhere I want, anytime I want.
Exactly. But then they're useless people.
Yeah, but that's because they got used to it. Yeah. That was the norm, I mean, if you got used to that, you probably wouldn't drive. Look at you.
Yeah, but what's the percentage of those? Like, I'm pretty sure it's a big percentage, and they're so used to having drivers.
No, but look at this backlash. Not backlash, but look at this huge welcoming to it now. Everybody wants to. Everybody's happy. They want to get their license. It's because it's connected to that whole idea of being free. Like I can get out whenever. Remember when you didn't have license when you were like 16 or
4 years ago.
You know how screwed up that is. Remember how much constricted you feel.
And my dad had this thing like he wouldn't get a driver. Like he's like, I'll drive you everywhere, boy.
Yeah.
I was like, why? He's like, I don't trust him. I'm like, okay, like in hindsight,
but
right now.
Like something happened in your house. Somebody fucked up a car. Somebody did something.
I didn't. No. بصراحة, he's just too overprotective of us. Like that's pretty much it at this point. But yeah, congratulations to Saudi women, and we hope to see you.
Yeah.
And drive safely, drive well. And the market for cars right now is going to go up. Oh,
it's beautiful right
Everyone is not only cars. You know what I saw today on Instagram? There was an ad for Sofitel. It was like, congratulations for Saudi women. If you're the first to come to Sofitel, you get a free stay for a night or something. What? Like weird stuff like that.
You have to drive here.
We have to show. Yeah, you have to show your license to them. Like that's the only thing.
If you can't drive, they're like, "Fuck you, just go away."
Well, yeah.
No. What do we got?
All right, so now we are. We're going to jump into the segment that we proposed.
Yes.
Last week.
Which is perfectly timed, by the way.
Exactly.
With, You'd think we actually had that planned.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it was not planned at all.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I told you.
That was not planned at all. Like, that's the thing.
This is the sad part.
Okay, so our segment for this week is ladies ask Khaleeji guys.
Yes.
And we're three Khaleeji guys. We're three.
Very representative.
We're the quintessential
Khaleeji guys,
we're
man.
The
Seriously.
Ones.
All right, so we have our first question here from our Instagram live. What's one thing Khaleeji men do not like in women?
Oh, hair.
Hair,
for sure.
Why is it because you can't see it?
One thing that you do not like?
No, two things.
Hair?
Actually. No, sorry, it's two. Look, in Bahrain, I'll tell you what it is in Bahrain and in Saudi. Okay, in Bahrain, it's hair. So women with like extra hair on their necks or something, or like their arms or whatever. I don't know why. That's not me personally. I'm just saying from the amount of bombardment I got to it. And then in Saudi, it's like the women that have
الكوع الأسود.
أيوة.
Oh no.
That's the thing.
The
repeated-
dry elbow, basically.
No,
Don't
it doesn't have to
moisturize.
be dry. It can be moisturized. It's
Those
just-
are you're talking about Saudis.
Yes.
That's very ironic since most of them are covered in because like you'd think it would be
But that's why what I told him. I told him like he's like hair. I'm like, can you see it? Like you know.
But some people can. Yeah.
I get the hair thing
The hair
because
thing is there.
I have heard of a lot of men who complain about that.
Because the white women have it easy. They can just grow a little bit of hair sometimes.
Wouldn't
and
show.
It doesn't show. It's blonde.
You're talking about like body hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
kind
talking
of
about
hair?
head hair.
No.
Because if you were talking about head hair, we're gonna have some argument here. You know what I mean?
About
You
body
don't-
hair.
Unless
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
a bald woman.
That's
you
why,
can't.
like, a lot of Khaleeji women have to spend tons. I'm talking like I fucking understand your life, and I don't. I'm saying they spend an inordinate amount of time just like waxing or doing something else because of these standards. Yeah, that's the idea, I guess.
Okay, OG.
That's what I've heard.
OG.
That's interesting. One thing men don't like about women.
Yeah. What's
I
one
don't,
thing?
I
yeah,
don't
we
know if I can top the hair thing, but I'm just gonna speak from the top of my head. The one thing that I can think of would be this is not me. This is just generally what I've heard. What I've noticed men think about is that very sort of feministy women.
Yeah,
like in women empowerment, women kind of stuff.
They don't-
and that goes because that really goes completely against their whole agenda of I want a
this
easy
is
woman.
specifically Bahraini women or all Khaliji men or
I think Khaleeji men in general.
Khaliji men don't like feminists.
Yeah.
I think that's all men, bro. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I did not. I don't mean it. It's just I took the easy joke. That was all I was doing. That's all.
You know,
And when
what about you?
when I say feminist, I don't mean like overly feminist, but it's just that I think men in Khalid specifically, and I think in Bahrain more specifically, are very turned off by, which is very weird, very turned off by they're like overly independent women.
Yeah.
Because they feel that's very intimidating. You know?
Which is freaking ironic. By
It
the way,
is.
because like they always go for the women that are independent. I don't understand.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really weird. Like they don't want the house girl. They don't want the house cat.
Mm-hmm.
They want the woman that's like from Poland. That is like that's.
but then when they get with the woman in Poland, they try to convert.
Yeah, they try to convert her to
Exactly.
proper housewife. So Matruk, what about you? What do you think?
me?
Yeah.
It's just one thing. It's just the makeup at the weddings.
That's probably you.
You know,
That's probably just you.
it's so deceptive. It's so deceptive,
It's very
man.
specific. Do you feel like it's because of that guy that got conned? Is that who you feel for at this
A
moment?
guy, no. Like a ton of guys
One
got
guy got
conned. Like
conned.
seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, there aren't a lot of mixed weddings nowadays, but
Actually, there are more mixed weddings.
No, I've been to a few, and man, it's just so deceptive. It's so deceptive. Like
But are they Khaliji traditional weddings or that are mixed or what?
well, it's the modern Khaliji
So,
kind of
like, like I don't know.
There aren't
a
any
wedding
traditional mixed Khaliji
like is it
weddings.
Oliveto type wedding? You're at a fancy restaurant.
At the
right?
Gulf Hotel and whatnot,
Okay.
and it's just like I can see like a thick layer of makeup.
Yeah.
Spend more money. Be like Meghan Markle.
Now, I thought she wasn't pretty. I thought you said
he-
she
he
wasn't
did
hot.
say that,
you
didn't
said,
he?
I have it on fucking record that you said she wasn't hot.
I said
And
she
now-
was okay.
And now she's okay.
She's okay.
What do you want, Metruk?
I don't know what
What do
I
you
want.
want? Do you want
Do-
no cake, no makeup, nice,
Yeah,
black?
seriously.
What
Yeah.
I want. What I want
Is freaking...
is for you guys, for you girls, not to put a lot of makeup during weddings. Like natural, You
can't always get what you want.
Get out of bed and go to the wedding.
It's easy for you to say, man.
I think that's what you
Easy
want,
for
bro.
you to say.
All right,
Give me another one.
so we go for another question.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good question. What do you look for in a girl?
Who's this? Is directed to everybody? Or
This is directed to everyone. Now,
I think it's directed to you, Metruk.
I do believe so. I do.
It's
Considering
directed to Metruk.
now Khaled's married, so he already has that down.
Yes.
Okay, well let's go to OJ. OJ, what do you?
No. The smart answer for me would be, I know what I want. It's my wife Sheda, and the honesty, the integrity, and the basically calling me out on my bullshit whenever she suggests to.
which is right now.
It's just right now. It's happening right now. Okay, go on.
OJ, what do you look for in a girl?
I don't believe in that, man.
You don't believe in
don't.
what?
I don't believe in like I have a type or what do you look
There's no
for
such
in a
thing
girl?
as a type?
Yeah, there's no such thing.
You don't have a type?
But not even we're not talking about physical types. We're talking about personality.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like I'm specifically more talking about personality.
Right.
I mean, I have general, specifications, if you will. Like at least she's independent.
Right.
But I don't know if I don't think you can specifically say what exactly you look for in a woman, because usually when you meet someone, it's more of what's the thing that you didn't expect. That's what attracts you the most.
Right. The odd thing out, the thing that at
Not
first
necessarily odd in a bad way, but it's like, oh, this is something completely new, and I've never met anyone like that, and then that's attractive.
I wonder if you're actually do you feel like you're attracted to that because it's exotic and then you get bored of it after a while? Is that what you are?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. But yeah, I think it's at least for me, I'm speaking for myself, not Khaleeji man, and at least for me.
We're supposed to be
speaking in the name of Khaleeji.
All right. For Khaleeji man, this is what they like. They like big tits, they like big
Yes.
big personalities.
Yeah, very big personalities, yes.
Right. That's true. What else? Oh, they like the voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The voice. You know the voice.
that's why they get tricked on the phone a lot.
Yeah.
And
شلونك؟ أبي اليوم أروح أشوف وياك المحل.
You've got like a bunch of Khaleeji men hard now. They're like, is that
we were talking actually a week ago. We're talking about how a lot of Khaleeji guys are into the Saudi accent when women speak like in a Saudi accent.
Yeah.
Like they're into that for some
They're
reason.
into it when it's the girls, not when it's the guys.
Oh, yeah,
It's the
obviously.
same
I mean-
fucking accent.
Exactly.
But
the same.
when it's the girls,
Because the tone is different. Because if it's a Saudi guy, exactly.
وين رايح؟ That's what they like it because it's like feisty, I guess. I don't know. I guess there's some feistiness to it.
You know me.
They
What
do like the voice.
do I look for in a girl?
What?
I don't know.
Hair?
I don't know. Hair probably. Like if she has hair on her head, that's a nice thing.
Acceptance.
Yes, acceptance. Someone to sort of call me out on a lot of my bullshit. Like that's something.
Exactly what he said. He can't say
no,
what he said.
Original.
That's
Be original, you mainstream fuck. Come on, what do you?
You know something? I would be a typical Khaleeji fuck, and I'm gonna say big tits and a big ass. Okay, that's what I want. I'm 20. Okay,
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
I'm not supposed to be like, oh my god, I'm looking for. No. I'm 20. Okay, I'm still like in the market for another 10 years.
Is lying. What he wants is a woman that will understand him, be there for him, emotionally speaking. And so he's giggling because he knows it's true. That's what he wants. He wants somebody to just blow his mind and some other things.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yes,
That was just
and
gonna point
just
that out.
open up he wants to be able to have a conversation for 4 hours with a girl.
She
Only him talking.
she blew my mind, and that's all she blew.
All right.
All right, so
I don't believe that.
next question. What are your fears about commitment?
Fears about commitment is, I think, I'll do what you did. I'll answer for myself, and then I'll answer for most Khaleeji guys.
Yeah,
But I feel like with this one, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
So, for most guys, I would say there's this fear that it's how they respond to the fear of commitment, which is that you're gonna lose control of your life because guys take fucking forever. We hit 25 to 30 to get our life and everything in order and everything is working perfectly, and then you might get married, you might get into a serious relationship, and that just throws everything off. You end up just getting confused. You don't know what to do. You're like, I have to go to work, but then I have to come back and relax and refresh. And also I have to be there emotionally speaking, because you can be there at home. You can be there present. You could be doing everything right. But if you're not there mentally, then there's always something you could be fucking up. And I'm not speaking about my wife here. I'm speaking about how I feel when I'm talking about any woman. It's just, I assume there's this, I'm going to admit maybe this is a bit of a generalization for all women, but I assume that women are not going to be giving me the benefit of the doubt when it comes to understanding why I think things are complex and I can't explain myself right now. Because women want an answer right now.
But doesn't that happen with men as well?
What do you
You
mean?
think? Like
That we throw off their life?
No, I think it's the same fear on both sides, like what you just explained.
Well, the fear...
At least to a certain degree.
I think I would disagree with you in one sense. I think the fear from guys is that they they will say one thing, but they're too scared to say how they really feel. So therefore, they commit to the bullshit. And then what the woman sees is honesty and what they think is real. And then one day the guy flips and he's like, I don't want any of this anymore.
Do you think that's because they feel like they have to try so hard that they have to cover up what they really feel?
I think guys just get overwhelmed, man. They get overloaded. They don't like to talk about things. Women are geared towards talking about things.
And even more so with Khaleeji men, I think.
Yes, even more so.
Yeah.
Because at least in the West, the guys might feel the same way, but they've gotten used to developing the vocabulary. Like, you come back and be like, honey, I understand what you're saying. I want to be here for you emotionally. I understand what you're going through. And then, we're going to sit down and parse it out. But the Khaleeji guy doesn't know what to say, so he just goes,
at this point for me, I'm not one. I mean, I don't want to talk about commitment because I want to commit to myself first. I'm 20. I'm going to college and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to commit to someone like right now.
Yeah.
قوية شوي.
That fear still stays because after you're done finishing and balancing out your life, you're going to feel that as well because you're going to be like, oh my God, is this going to throw everything off? Like, I hang out with the guys on Thursday, but this is happening this day.
With the boys!
With the boys! Yeah. So it's how you handle that confusion. And girls handle it better because their whole life is about analyzing social confusion. That's what they do. That's what they love to do.
Okay.
I think... Sorry, you were going to say something?
Another generalization, sorry.
I think it's the same fear both ways, but I'm gonna talk about it from a different sense than you did. I think the fear, the common fear is that person that I'm with right now, are they gonna be the same person in, say, 10, 20 years?
Yeah.
And am I gonna feel the same way? I think that's the biggest fear on both sides.
I guess the fear is different per the individual reason. What you as an individual might fear, that's what it manifests as. It's like, what is it going to look like 20 years down the line? What is it going to look like with kids? What is it going to look like?
And I think that's what. Yeah, exactly. And all that's coming together and it just makes them ask more questions and makes them question everything.
That is the overwhelming feeling I'm talking about. Where you don't know. You're like, boy, I'm barely balancing my life out right now. What's going to happen when I lose control?
But then again, it's very ironic that that men say that, because isn't that the whole point of being in a relationship? That you balance each other out.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Because
But then we're not, as men, we're not okay with chaos. Like, look at us when we play fucking video games and we're killing shit. We don't like choices. Or we don't want to, most guys, I personally might feel like, okay, I like fleshing out a game and looking at every little inch of it. But when you see an average guy that wants to play a video game, they're skipping through the story. Yeah. They don't want the extra
That's
detail.
a very interesting psychoanalysis of comparing both.
Right, boys. I'm sure you'd love to have this argument, over and over, but we have a bunch of questions to answer. Right. So the next question is... Would you rather change your child's shitty diaper or iron your clothes for a week? OJ, we're gonna go to you on this.
See, it's such a funny question because I hate ironing, and I have a feeling that whoever wrote that question to you knows me and knows what I'm gonna answer. But I would rather iron my. No, actually, do you mind answering that? Let me. I just want to think about it for a second.
Okay,
yeah, because.
I'll take that.
But it's your child.
That's an easy one for me. This is something I just love to do. I love cleaning up. I know, ladies. But but not in the good way. The more if I see something pile up after a couple of days, I get nervous, I get agitated. Today and this morning I saw a freaking cockroach. I screamed like a 17-year-old.
Like a little girl.
I just screamed, man. I fucking freaked out. So I do have a clean freak streak in me. When it kicks in, it just kicks in on overdrive. But I remember as a kid, he might actually be watching this for all I know, okay? But this little kid shat his pants in his diapers.
Oh, no.
And it was the first time I smelt baby poop.
Oh.
And it's fucking satanic. It's not normal, man. Baby poop has a whole other, if you could power, fossil fuels or some replacement for fucking solar or nuclear energy or something, it's not that, it's baby poop. There's the amount of nuclear power in that shit. It just blindsided me for like 5 minutes, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay in that room.
Oh, God bless all our mothers, huh?
Yeah.
God bless them.
That is honestly a million props to all you married women out there with kids. I have no idea how you do it. And I picture you guys like, you know, the fucker in Vietnam where they're just going through bodies and they have 2 cigarettes like in their noses because the decomposing
I think you're overthinking. I don't know, man. I think you get used to it after a couple of shits.
You know.
I think they just
seriously.
drink.
I'm not kidding, man.
I think they just drink, man.
I genuinely think that you can just تتشبع من الريحة and you can just you won't be able to smell it anymore.
You know,
like if you're changing a diaper every day, probably more than once.
Yeah, but then
a day.
Is it that like I feel like it's a nightmare, like it's Chinese water torture. The baby knows exactly.
Plus, baby shit is like it's so tiny and probably cleaner than any other shit. I would suspect.
No, that's
absolutely yes.
Yes, that's quality baby shit.
No, it is
flammable, bro. It's flammable.
Still, but it's cleaner than your shit. Look what you're eating. The baby's eating like Cerelac and some shit. Nothing on water and milk.
It's their bacteria, bro. That's healthy young bacteria in the billions. Our bacteria is depleted. It doesn't create gases like it used to. Theirs is just like on overdrive, man. It's not normal.
I would say I hate to be the guy who says I wouldn't mind doing either. Like I think they're both okay. I'm not as disgusted with baby poop as you are.
What's wrong with cleaning shirts for a week?
And
I would.
So I just want to so I don't forget this. Ironing clothes really annoy me because sometimes I'm in a hurry and I have to iron my shit, and that's the frustration that I have.
But it's only for a week, though.
Yeah.
It's only for a week.
Does it say for a week?
Yeah, for a week.
Oh, it's all right then.
It's no,
These are hypotheticals, aren't they?
yeah. I mean, I'll answer this by saying that I'd rather iron my clothes because I like ironing my
You
clothes.
sure yours will take a while, man?
Yeah, I know. They
like
will
2
take a
weeks
while,
for yours,
but it's
bro.
therapeutic. You know what I mean?
How many people does it take to iron his clothes?
All right. So moving on. Right.
All right, go ahead.
So would their ideal woman, as in Khaleeji guys, would Khaleeji guys' ideal woman be better at doing her makeup or cooking a meal?
The ideal woman?
Yes.
The ideal Khaleeji woman would be... Well...
Like, you know, because we have this stereotype here, like, oh, نبي واحدة تطبخ, نبي واحدة مرشينة, نبي واحدة مرشينة, you know, like, we want a woman that cooks, we want a woman that does this or that or that.
Well, that's the thing. That's a difficult question.
I think that's slowly fading, though. Yeah. I don't know if that's just my perspective.
I think it is definitely fading. It's not really as relevant as it used to be. But let's assume that it is, and I'm going to answer one side of it. I think for most men, the first thing they're going to complain about is the food, right?
Right.
They don't even know that the women are doing the makeup. That's why they're complaining about the food. That's the reason. So if women actually stopped, those women that they're used to having the makeup on stopped, then they'll notice, and then suddenly maybe the priorities will shift. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming, yeah.
But see, for me, this question is like it doesn't make sense to me because when it comes to cooking, I like to cook.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to cook. If you want to delegate the task, you know, one day me, one day her, one day whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. And as far as makeup goes, man, couldn't give a fuck, really. Really couldn't give a fuck. Like, unless she comes down looking like, I don't know.
Some women would disagree with you, though. They'd say you wouldn't know. Like, even the ones that do the Marco, like, makeup level. They would be like, you don't want to see me natural, bro.
Well, why not?
Yeah, but even as a guy, I agree with you. I personally don't. Yeah. I like natural. I look at plastic surgery.
I think we all agree on this.
I freak out. Yeah, I think we agree on that. Mm-hmm. Give me another one.
All right. OJ, you don't have any input on this?
I don't know. I'd have to agree with you. Although, wait, can you repeat the question just so I don't have to?
The question is, as an Khaleeji man, would our ideal woman be better at doing her makeup or cooking a meal?
That is a very weird. That's not how I heard it in the beginning.
But it's ours, not the average Khaleeji man, right?
Wait, no, it says average Khaleeji man.
Yeah, we're talking about Khaleeji guys.
Talking about them in general.
Yeah, but we're not average.
We're not average.
No. Probably. Don't underestimate Khaleeji women, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. So we got one question here from our live feed.
Yeah.
And it says, and this is actually similar to a question that Dina asked.
Okay. My sister
Dina Doseri. Yeah. Basically, it says, I would like to know why Khaleeji guys don't leave the nest before getting married. And Dina's question is, why do Khaleeji men still live in their houses in their 30s? I think that, we could sort of connect those two questions.
Okay. I can answer at least for Saudis. Okay? Because fucking bachelors get treated like shit in Saudi. That's the honest goddamn truth. Okay? I don't know why it happens in other Khaleeji countries. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm not saying there isn't a level of job security when it comes to like relying on your family. Like look at Western countries right now. A lot of kids we're dealing with that bad economy. They move back in with their family. Mm-hmm. So it's an economic decision. Maybe like I give you something. 5% of them are man babies. That's for sure. Okay.
Just 5%?
I don't know. It's a huge number. You're talking about a huge population like Saudi. 5% is a lot, bro.
All right.
If you're saying, okay, what about the ones that are the average guy that still hasn't moved out? If you've seen the places that average bachelors have to live in because they're not allowed to move into most fancy buildings, like even if you have a good, well-paying job, you're a responsible person, you don't have any violations, you're not a felon, nothing. You cannot rent in most apartment complexes until you're married. So that was one of the biggest complaints I had in Saudi when some of my friends were growing up. They're like, I don't want to go live in those bachelor apartments because they were shit. They were honestly just look them up, ask some of your friends, you'll see them. They're just terrible. They're devastating, cockroaches everywhere, and you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but that's Saudi though.
Yeah, I've heard there's similar here.
I mean, I know for a fact that I was talking to my dad about this, and he told me that a lot of, and I agree with his viewpoint. Yeah. A lot of old school parents, like our parents, like they built like big houses, and their idea was, back then you could have kids, life was easier, so I'll build a big house, and the whole family's gonna live there forever and ever till the end of time. Yeah. All right. Nowadays, houses are getting expensive. People are more apartment oriented rather than house oriented. So now, the coming generation will see a huge surge of bachelors moving out of their parents' houses, or single girls moving out of their parents' houses. Whereas, for our generation, you have a lot of 30-year-olds still living at home. Okay, that's fine. But if you get married, man, and you have a job and whatnot, like, get the fuck out. Yeah. For God's sake,
Yeah, that's very true. But I think this happens because it is, as you said, it's deeply rooted in our culture. And in Bahrain, I think, the way I believe it goes is that the reason why these old men are still at home with their parents is that because their parents want them to be in their home with them. And that goes back to your whole topic of how we used to build really big houses back then. And because we want the children to stay and grow in these houses. And by the way, they're still doing the same thing right now in our generation, where they build a house and they're like, oh, we'll build you an apartment on the third floor. It's still happening. I think it's mostly, it goes to the parents most. Like, they're the people who are pushing this kind of mentality.
It is the parents.
I don't think it's I think a lot of people want to move out, but they're like, oh no, stay with us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you look at it, right? If you look at the harsh world in front of them, right? Every single thing is set up so you're gonna be living in shit. Or then you have, and by the way, this is not just my opinion about why guys don't move out of apartments. This is my opinion about why a lot of like Arab risk taking is kind of suffocated before somebody's allowed to grow up. Is because you're getting a false choice. You're getting a choice where it's like, here's one shitty situation, and then your parents, not thinking of your benefit, they're not going to think about what's better for you. They're going to give you the easiest option as an out. And every time you have that out as a safety net, you're going to take that because you don't want to live in the cockroach-infested apartment.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah, but that's in Saudi.
Yeah, but...
I mean, if you look at Bahrain right now, there's a lot of bachelor apartments. In Dubai, a lot of bachelor apartments.
Yeah, but can you afford the ones you're talking about? That's another question.
But that actually comes to a question asked by one of our viewers here on Instagram Live. He says... But don't you think it's primarily a cultural behavior rather than an economical one?
It's both. It's not one or the other. Look at, for example, when you have religious institutions or even a cultural institution that is telling you are less of a man if you don't get married, if you don't have kids. if you're not responsible. There was this same phenomenon if you were going in the US, in the West, where men, if they were at a job in an office, you wouldn't get the promotion if you weren't married. That was a whole thing that men had to go through, that were thinking, well, why is it that the guy that dedicates his life to not dedicates, that's the ironic thing, is that they would have a wife and kids, but they dedicate their life to their work. So the wife and kids are a trophy, just to prove, so they can be in this little special club. And the same mentality happens here for a lot of guys, where it's like, well, that's the thing you do. Because if you want to be a part of the in crowd, you stay with your family until you move out, and then you get a wife, and then you get a kid. So they will move out, but it's once they have the wife and kids.
Exactly.
The economic question comes in when they can't fucking afford it.
Right.
And that's the reason. They're getting the wife and kids, and they can't afford it, so they stay with their family.
Yeah, but that depends, where you work or whatever. Like I know a lot of guys.
But he's talking about the majority.
Yeah, okay. Like I know some guys, like they they're just they don't want to get out. They have a good job, good salary, car, yada yada.
And that's why I said it's the parents' fault. It's not
That's
theirs.
Exactly,
parents, yeah.
exactly. And part of it should be blamed on the parents, because parents, old school parents are really overprotective.
Coddle,
we want you to stay, in the house and whatever and whatnot. Anyways, so second question from our live feed. I would like to know, how in God's name do Khaleeji guys ask their mothers and sisters to choose a wife when they won't even ask their mothers and sisters to choose a car for them?
Well, first of all,
You take this.
I was waiting for that one.
because there's a big difference between a car and a woman. I'm just kidding. I mean, there is. No, don't get me wrong, there is. I think it can be the same answer as the previous question. It's just deeply rooted in our culture. I know that's a very general answer.
Yeah, but
I think it's this is what happens when you have a culture accustomed to these sort of things.
Right.
It becomes normal, like, if you إذا ما صار عندك حظ, that's what they call it. You're like, just ask someone to find you a wife.
Yeah,
as if you're looking for a fridge or a car or
But
something.
OJ, don't you think it's a lot of guys? I think education plays a big role in this, in terms of which school you went to, because a lot of guys who went to public schools in Bahrain, they have, they can't talk to girls, or they don't have the ability or the confidence or whatnot. That's fine. Okay, like that's not your fault. I went to a private schools. I was around girls most of my life. I know how to talk to them. I know how to whatever, and I'm sure you guys as well. But to the guy who went to public school, or to the guy who doesn't have the confidence to talk to girls, all his life has been around guys and whatnot, when it comes time for him to get married, man, who else to trust to choose the right girl for you but your mom or your sister?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's the way it should be done.
No, I'm not saying that's the way it should be done.
But that was the easy answer. Let's say I completely relate to that, because I grew up in Saudi, not knowing, not having any girl talking or speaking skills with women or anything else. And I couldn't meet them, and there was such a long climb. So like when I finally went to a mixed school, like in my senior year, or my ثانوية في البحرين, so that's junior or till senior, I guess. I started my first interaction with girls, right? And after that, it was like, listen, you're striking out every single time. You're not only embarrassing yourself, you're self-conscious, you don't have confidence. Yeah, and it's not just them, it's everything else in your life. Look at how the parents set it up. They're not going to, at least my parents were never going to tell me not to do it. And it's not their fault. But they don't, if I ask them for help when it comes to because if you go to your Western parents and they ask them help about, dating advice or something else, they have some advice for you.
Yeah.
It might be terrible, but they have some advice for you. But your own family is disconnected from you when it comes to going down that path. So they're not going to support you in any way when it comes to that path. They're just not going to stand in the way either. But then you have the easy answer. Do I actually go the harder path? Or do I just take the easy out? And I promise you, there were times where I was considering it. Like in the back of my head, I was like, why don't I just take the easy out and just, maybe my mom does know who works for me. I don't fucking know.
Freudian complex.
Yeah, when Facebook asks me my relationship status, I freak out. So why don't I just
I'm complicated. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what I like.
What I like,
maybe I like ovens. I don't know. But yeah, that's how I see it. I see it as either take the harder choice and actually build a life around it and take so many risks and fail so many times. And we do not support failure in the Middle East. Yani, if you fail, people make you feel shitty about it.
Yep. You're a shitty person if you fail.
If you fail, you're a shitty person.
All
so
right.
why not take... Yeah.
All right. Sorry,
I'm on the soapbox.
So we the other question, we got it from 2 viewers, similar question, same as the last one. Okay, so why do guys chase girls around in their cars and hit on them? This is a purely Khaleeji thing. I've never seen a white person do it. Seen a lot of Khaleeji guys do it. So what's your take on that?
This has to be very specific. Why did they do it in Saudi, or why did they do it in Khaleeji?
It's everywhere right now. They don't just do it in Saudi. I've seen instances in Dubai. I've seen instances in Bahrain.
So why is it suddenly happening in Dubai and Bahrain?
I don't know.
See, it's very interesting because most of these questions are connected ultimately when it comes to the fact that when you were talking about how men don't get a lot of interaction with women in the first place, like especially people in public schools or people in Saudi, they were talking about. When you grow up in an environment like that, you like the ways that you basically come up with ways to approach women that are not exactly ideal. Like you're not sure. Like it's a very easy thing to do. That's my quick answer would be. It's just a very easy thing to do. You have a car. You're in a car and you pass by and you see a very beautiful woman. You're like,
OJ, I disagree. I'm sorry. I mean, we live in the age of information and technology. There are like a million videos on YouTube on, how to be a gentleman, how to pick up women appropriately.
So they can understand English.
You think Khaleeji men would look up that? Like, how do I approach women without
OJ, I'll tell you what. You can't discount every person's intelligence. You can't just say, "Oh, this guy was
not
whatever."
An intelligence thing. It's a language barrier. They can be actually very intelligent, but they don't know English.
I'm sure there are websites in Arabic that
I've never heard
support.
of them.
Probably.
I'm sure they're out there. Those
websites
if
would probably say this.
By the way, if there aren't, this is a fucking huge market for somebody.
Oh yeah.
Somebody needs to get on this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's disgusting. Sometimes I'm in traffic, and a couple of months ago I was in traffic, and this guy with his friend was hitting on a mom with her daughter in the car.
Bahraini guy.
Yeah, it is disgusting, and I see it every day.
Wait. What? When does this started happening? I don't like from.
You haven't seen this in Bahrain?
No,
come on, man.
My whole life I know it in Saudi, but we had a reason for it. There was no other way. There's I've
been witnessing this since I was a child, Dan. It's been going on.
What's the no? If so, you're saying it's since forever.
Yeah,
like
it's always been like this.
Okay, so it's the same level as what it was in Saudi.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is that in Saudi, you'd have to find sneaky ways to تطلع الرقم, تقطم الشباك, whatever it is. A girl actually might be walking in the mall, and guys would just tail her, and they would tail the girl or a group of girls, and then that's their way of showing interest, making eye contact.
It's very interesting because Bahrainis do the same thing, and I remember they used to do this more when I was a child.
What, Bukawara or something, or like?
No, actually, like in the mall or just literally anywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
One of our viewers says maybe they like it. Who are we to judge? Now, I'm gonna come into a story. I was in Dubai once, and I was in Jumeirah, and we were driving around with the guys, and there was 4 girls in an open top Jeep.
Right.
Okay, like an open top, and they were Arabs. They weren't white or anything.
Yeah.
And, فالين شعرهم, their hair is out, they got their makeup, everyone's on Snapchat and whatever.
So you think if they're doing that means they want
I think they were doing it on purpose because there was a guy behind them, Amani, in a Ford Raptor, and he was like honking to them, and they were like, they pretend they're shy and whatever.
Yeah.
But they were, telling him, come on.
Because it has to work for them sometimes, right?
Yeah.
See, that's my theory. And the reason why this kept happening and it keeps happening is that because it must have worked at least once.
It has to, yeah. There has to be a market.
That's the only reason why it's working, why people keep doing it.
I'll go back to answer this question with another statement. Where I'm going to say, I think it's also because we don't have real meetup points. Like you can go to the local pub and meet somebody every night in the UK. You can go to, like your local club or whatever it is, and you meet women in the States. You don't have the equivalent of that. The equivalent of that is the road and the hunt. And the hunt is the guys go around and they keep trying their luck with whatever it is, and maybe 1 out of 10 it works. I have no idea. And they used to be actually smarter about it because when the days before the internet, and I don't know if you guys are too young to remember this, but there was signals. So kind of like how if you're a gay guy, you know, the gay voice kind of signals that, you know, hey, I'm one of the community or something. For Saudi men, same thing. There was like small things like, oh, I had a Tweety bird on my car. Do you guys remember this? Like when they had a Tweety bird or something like that. Yeah, they put Tweety got famous for like.
Wait, what does that stand for?
It's like I'm looking, I'm cute. Like look at me, I'm dating. So if you had that, and there was like other symbols, I can't remember.
This is bringing flashbacks, right?
Yeah, like when girls, like for example, they wear abayas and they're really tight abayas. Yeah. That's like a signal that I'm out on the hunt. Right. If you went to a specific mall. You know, that was
specific spots.
And then the thing is, we're not saying girls like, you know, don't wear anything to like like guys hit on you and whatever. That's fine. Do it. But I'd love to see more of that. But I just
but a lot of women would disagree with that. And they're like, we actually just want to wear something.
Let him say his thing.
Sorry.
Habibi, I just think that this whole guys going to a girl in the car and honking their horns and shit, I just think it's cringy as fuck.
No, we all think it's cringy, but we're trying to think why they're doing it. Yeah, that was the whole question.
That's the question, isn't it?
But we have a viewer here on our live stream that says it's not always disgusting for girls. Both parties could be into it.
Is it a girl?
It is a girl.
Okay. See?
It is a girl. And I agree. Yeah,
I think we got our answer.
Some girls like it, but
some girls like the attention.
But for me, it's just...
By the way, because I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, whoever you are, but I'm saying because of you, 10 other women have to suffer. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good point.
Like, just, I don't know, use Tinder, something. Like, there's tech now. But,
all right, moving on. Moving on to the next question, if I could just navigate. Come on. All right, so we have
you got it?
Question 3. Why do most Khaleeji guys think that they have to wait for a girl to show interest? He is a guy, he has to try, ask, and be okay with rejection. That relates to our previous question.
See, it's a catch-22, man. It's a catch-22. Like, it's like an ongoing debate between Khaleeji men. You're like, I can't, the fact that I'm worried I can't approach her because she's gonna think I'm an asshole, I'm disgusting, as we were saying.
Yeah.
And they're like, so I'm waiting for a signal from her, but she wouldn't do anything because she wants him to approach, and it all gets lost. It's a loophole.
To me, and I'm gonna be honest about my past in this. Okay, at one point in my life, I was a freaking pussy when it came to that shit. Okay, I would overthink it. I wouldn't just do it. And I'd just linger, right? And I'd have sometimes that weird look.
I'm a confident motherfucker.
I'm just looking. I'd have that. But I shit you not, ever since that changed in me, and I honestly had the balls to do it, it was just one night after another, I used the Charlie Sheen method, which is just you hit on a girl, you fail, you take a shot. You hit on a girl, you fail, you take a shot.
I love how you use Charlie Sheen as your god.
It was the one thing
that's the guy who saved my life.
It's the one thing that helped, man. It was because by the end of the night, you're so drunk you don't even remember what happened, okay? And I was going to say, if you think of, not me, let's say the average guy, okay? The average Khaleeji guy, whatever it is. All the risk is on them. What is your risk? You're not, if you have all the safety, you can sit there and you can fuck with him. You can be like, hey, I'm interested. No! Or you can be acting all shocked, or... If the guy is not, if even you guys sometimes even play it up. Not all women, I'll be fair with that, but some women do play it up, and they'll be in the hunt and they'll act available, especially in this part of the world. Mm-hmm. But then if a certain guy approaches, no, exactly. And they'll act like they were never interested in any approach whatsoever.
Absolutely,
right?
You're like, it's disgusting. Are you?
You know something, man.
What kind of girl do you think I am?
Yeah.
The old school flirting, man. That's funny as hell, man. The guy that'd be like in a coffee shop or something.
Yeah.
And the guy would sit down in his chair alone, and the girl would sit down like 2 tables apart.
Yeah.
And they just look at each other the whole time. They're flirting without speaking. You know what I mean?
I don't understand that.
They're just looking at each other.
I don't know, but I have
they got some sort of Khaleeji Bluetooth or something going on.
Telepathy.
It's like, give me 3, eyebrow bumps.
But I do agree with what you said, because it's... I think, I believe that if you're just civilized, nothing can go... what's the worst thing that can happen is that, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Yeah, if you're civilized, you're not going to be embarrassed in front of people.
Yeah, but then... but then some guys don't take rejection very well.
No, that's fine. If you're talking about, if this question was posed in the Western world, I'd be more on the side of women about this because, yeah, guys should take more risks.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, if you're in this part of the world and you ask the wrong person, you're fucked. Like, especially in a small place like Bahrain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're fucked. Sorry, go ahead.
No. And women take this very lightly. Like, they don't realize. I know it's easy to say, oh, it's fine. If you approach women in a nice way, if you're a nice guy, if you're being civilized, the worst thing that can happen is that you're nicely rejected.
That's it.
But that's not exactly true for a lot of women. And what worries the man, like what worries the Khaleeji man, like the quintessential Khaleeji man, is that he's gonna get embarrassed in front of everyone.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Bahrain is so small.
They'll talk about
Everyone's gonna know.
Everybody's gonna talk. Everybody's going to talk. And our viewer, the same viewer that asked this question, said that Tinder is still taboo to use, especially for Khaleeji girls.
I know.
See, Tinder is an when I'm in Europe or whatever, Tinder is an outlet to use.
True that.
Best, you go on Tinder here, like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Well, I was answering that specific girl that liked the attention of guys in cars. Because there's no anonymity there either. Like is the idea that when I'm in my car driving around I'm willing to take the risk with a stranger, or is the idea that when you're on Tinder you don't want anybody to know that you're on Tinder? Well, then you're not the person that you're I guess pretending to be. I don't know. Like you're not having the same level of confidence.
Well, I think first of all, Tinder is closely associated with prostitution here in Bahrain.
Here, especially.
Yeah, especially here.
That's for one. Second, it doesn't really surprise me because this is what happens with different applications in different countries. Like Facebook is not really that popular here in Bahrain. Well, it used to be, but now it's mostly Instagram. That's what people use. And I think this is what happens. This is what happened with Tinder as well. Like in certain countries, it's very it's very, very common to use, and people use it for dating.
Right.
But that's just what happens when different apps work for different cultures in different countries, and that's.
But our viewer here says that they should invest in learning how to be smoother and know how to ask.
Why? When you're in the car and driving at 100 miles an hour?
No, I'm talking about generally,
I think they're talking
like approaching
generally,
women, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. We're in the age of technology, motherfucker. Go read something, watch a video, and learn.
It's very easy to read something and actually do it.
Execution is different. I told you I had to go through 300 shots of tequila in a city that nobody would remember who the fuck I was before that actually became a thing. So you're talking about a crash course where I'm going through either clubs, whatever it is, failing, and the one thing that kept me sane was the idea that nobody's going to remember this. Nobody's going to know this.
And Metruk, I'm sorry, قطعتك, بس Metruk, I know it's so easy for you to say because خلاص you're used to, you're okay with this. You kind of got past the barrier. Oh shit, I don't know how to talk to women. You're okay with that.
Yeah.
بس تخيل انت, like you're talking about people who have never interacted with a woman in their life, except for even their cousins. They're shy from their cousins. Like this is
that's
so
the type
normal.
we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And I understand what maybe her concern is. There are men that when they do try to hit, they're not smooth. But without practice, it's like when people talk about comedy. A lot of people have the wrong impression about comedy in Bahrain. They're like, you have to go up on stage and immediately be funny. No, you fucking don't. You have to go through a million bombs, a million times where you might have the potential for it.
Thank you.
You might have the potential for it for sure. But you're gonna have to fucking fail a million times before you actually are able to do something decent.
All right. Shall we move on to the next question?
Sorry, I'm getting it.
Right. You're getting carried away, aren't you?
I came in from the gym. I have some raw testosterone.
You're very passionate.
I'm getting the
You're very passionate about this, aren't you?
This one's close to my heart. That one.
Okay.
I feel for those guys. I really do.
So why do Khaleeji men have a superiority complex? Now I'll answer that because of one video, Saudis and Audis. There's one video right here that sort of just boosted that superiority complex.
Right.
Fucking skyrocketed that shit.
Why do Khaleeji men have superiority complex?
It's such a complex question. I don't know how to answer this I don't know how to give a short answer. Because it's connected to culture and religion and tradition. It's all.
And in a way, it's connected to confidence. Do you know?
Yeah, but why is it connected to confidence?
Because that's the only thing. Like it's like our fake machismo.
Yeah,
No,
but don't you think the confidence in Khaleeji guys is only amongst their circles? Once they're out of their comfort
Yes.
zone, it's
Yes.
khalas.
But that's how.
But isn't that with most men though?
No, not really.
Not always, but I understand what he's saying, though. It's like there's a power dynamic to it, and men treat everything, or most men will treat everything like it's a power dynamic, especially when they're scared. When they start settling down and they feel like they're connected to somebody on a deeper level, an emotional level, and they develop the ways to treat the world not through violence and aggression and power dynamics. They start to think about what they're going through. But the average guy doesn't necessarily have that experience. So what they do is, when you're in a threat mode, when you're in flight or fight mode, you fight. And the superiority complex comes from wanting to dominate a woman. Mm-hmm. That's the idea there. So if you let go, if you just act like you're not superior in any way, maybe they'll think you're weak. Yeah. Or maybe they'll fool you somehow. A lot of guys get paranoid.
And that's what I meant why it's so connected to culture, specifically here in the Gulf.
Yeah.
And people are like that whole phrase, and you're not a man if you don't do this.
It's murayal.
This is what gets you. This, and we all fell for this.
There are some men that they see that in their father and mother's relationship. Mm-hmm. Their parents, they see that between, like, even sometimes we think of the man being the dominant person in a marriage, but sometimes there are women, like married women, that have this weird way of doing that old school style of انت مو بريال. انت ما تعرف, like whatever it is, he's مقصر عليه.
A lot of women are the men in the relationship nowadays.
Not nowadays. I'm talking about like just
bad couple.
That old way of really sapping somebody's confidence, right. Especially if the guy is not necessarily a terrible guy. He might be a nice guy, but I'll admit I'm not defending men here. I'm also defending the women that are open to it, and then they get shut down by a man that is freaking out. He sees a threat, doesn't know how to deal with it because he can't man up and feel like, you know what, I have to go out with the couple night today, and he feels insecure, and then the insecurity turns into power struggle, whatever.
One of our viewers is like, I think this is a global issue. It's men everywhere.
Yes, it is.
Do you think so? But like Khaleeji's like sort of just taking just change gear on it.
No, Khaleeji's are just behind in the game. Like there's
that's a very good way to look at it. Yeah,
the dominance structure, the dominance hierarchy can happen in different ways. So the style that they use in the States for dominance is different than what it is here. Mm-hmm. But the one here is like that old school, like, destroy the woman's confidence, or like tell her she can't do something because she's not smart enough. Something that's, not been tested by PR, not been like going through like struggles with feminism. Whilst the guys that get away with it in the West, they do other things. So they might, what is the closest example I can think of? The woman is at the office, right? And she's working hard, 9 to 5. And then another guy, to dominate that woman, makes her feel like, the reason she's not doing her job, or every time she does something wrong, he'll bring up, that she has a kid. And it's very subtle.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle way of dominating the woman, reminding her that she has weak points. Mm-hmm. And that's what guys sometimes do to guys, but not necessarily in the way that women are used to, maybe. I don't know.
All right, so we have 3 more questions.
Go ahead.
I have 3 more questions that were submitted to us, and, if we got a question on our live feed, that would be great. All right. First question is...
I think you should take this one. Because
I'm answering.
It's okay.
He's like, it's okay.
Because the first question, I can't take it. Okay. I can't. Like, I'm too young to take it.
We'll help you out. We'll go.
Okay.
We'll take you through it.
Why do Khaleeji men have second thoughts when thinking about marrying a divorced girl?
I honestly don't know. But wait, ask them. Divorced girl with kids or just divorced girl?
No, it's not. It wasn't. This is a question that was submitted.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say divorced girl. Let's not put kids into it because kids make it a bit more complicated.
Yeah. Okay. So divorced women, I honestly have no idea.
I think this is a very. I'm just hypothesizing here. I'm probably very wrong, but I'll just throw it out there. I think the virginity has something to do with it.
Probably,
definitely.
But I don't want to assume. I honestly never been able to talk about any guy about it because it doesn't come up in conversation. Mm-hmm. Rarely does it, because if a woman is, if that happens, it usually happens between the guy and his mother, or somebody else, or if it happens, you'll never hear about it. That he does marry a woman that's divorced.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But eventually, it's just out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess
you just hear about it eventually.
No, I don't. I honestly have never in my life have heard a guy that has been told, by the way, this woman is it off?
Yeah, live Instagram apparently did a countdown.
It only has a 10. It only has an hour.
There's a limit. Yeah,
you can do another one.
All right,
they'll be back on.
It's good.
There's always a buffer, but we're almost up to an hour anyway. We can start. We can end soon. Is there any more questions? A lot more.
There's just 2 more questions actually. After this one.
Okay.
All right.
Divorced women, I think here get a lot of shit.
They do
because it's sad to see. Right here, for in the Gulf.
Yeah.
In the GCC, a girl's reputation is everything.
Yeah.
Everything. That's why, when a girl gets a divorce, people instantly just assume and it was her fault or whatever. Well, oh, look at her, she's divorced or whatever.
Taboo behind it.
And I'm just like, come on, man. We live in the 21st century. Most probably 70% of the time, the guy was a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll tell you why this is happening. I just realized. I think it's because it's very frowned upon that you're in a relationship with someone here in the Gulf and you're not married. Especially when you're in a serious relationship and you just want to be with each other. How in the West you can actually have a family without, getting married. You can literally do that. You can't do that here. No. And in the West, they're living in a world where it's sort of where people get into relationships, they break up. Some people will have sex without being married, and that's the norm. There is no marriage tied into it. And I think because people have to be married here to be in an actual relationship, a real one, quote unquote, that's why it's very difficult for a Khaleeji man to want to get into a relationship with a divorced woman. We're like, oh, she's been. It's like she's used, It's very. I hate saying that, but it's like that's how they think.
Yeah, they do. She's not a fucking car, She's a woman.
They buy secondhand cars.
Exactly.
That's worse than that.
No, that's the thing. And for me right now, I don't mind marrying a divorced girl. I mean, I'm 20, so
Yeah, but that's just your desperation.
I'll take anything. Whatever you got, God.
All right, so
what's up next? Are we back on the live?
No, we're not back on the live actually because my phone is getting hot.
What does that mean?
It's getting hot.
Did we just leave people with no ending? Is that?
All right, fine. I'll start another live video right here.
Try it. We're 2 away, and it's an hour past now. 2 minutes past an hour, so we're almost good.
Right on.
Good to go.
All right, we are back live. And okay, so the second to last question we have here submitted to us. Why are they okay if a European lady does something but judge an Arab girl for doing the same thing, even if what she's doing is halal?
Oh, that's
because an Arab girl is not European. I'm speaking from their perspective. They're like, oh, that's an Arab woman. She shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, but do they have
It is a very weird thing.
I think because they actually degrade. Sorry, go ahead. I'm cutting you off.
No. Actually, that's a good point. I'm gonna.
Yeah. I was saying they actually look at. You think they're treating Western women or European women better by doing that, but actually, what's happening there is they degrade the Western woman. They look at her like she's easy.
Exactly.
She's a bit of a whore, adi. But with the Arab woman, it's more like no. You're our women. Nobody fucks our women.
Yeah, it's like almost. Weirdly enough, it's almost as out of respect to them. They're like, oh, they should be doing that.
It's like
that's the mentality.
Yeah, but that causes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not saying it doesn't.
It causes a lot of problems. A lot of guys are like, we don't want you to do this because people think badly of you. Like, they guilt trip the shit out of the lady.
Yeah, they do.
For doing something. Come on.
And they'll treat the Western women that they date really shitty. Because that's why they have... And that's the reason, by the way, they have fake relationships when they actually do get married to a Khaleeji woman. It's because then they see the woman as this icon, this symbol, and not as the person. It's the symbol of what she represents, a Khaleeji woman. You treat her like this, you do this for her, you do this for her. But you don't know who that person is. You're just treating this as a symbol, and the same thing is happening in reverse to the European one. But I'll be honest and I'll say that this is less to do just with that specific incident. That happens for a lot of things. So if you're... if you're a Khaleeji guy and you are, let's say, a stand-up comedian in Saudi, if you go and do comedy in Saudi in English, they fucking judge you. Right? But if you're Kuwaiti or Bahraini or whatever it is and you do it in English, عادي شو يمشون لك.
Yeah.
And the same thing, it's a tribal thing, right?
Yeah.
You're one of us. You should be like us. Now that is changing because I'm seeing some guys, especially in like newer fields, things that are not established, things that like gaming or whatever. يمشون. They're like, oh, this is a new thing. It's okay. Whoever builds the reputation builds it. You know.
I'll give you another example. It's like having an Arab or a Bahraini friend who, drinks and all that, and then you have another friend who's on the same level. Like let's say they're both your best friends.
Yeah.
But that person is like some German or European guy, and they're like, that's how ثقافتهم. You're like, they can do that.
Exactly.
And they're like, you're not as mad about. Even if you're okay with your Arab friend doing that,
you're judging him.
You're like, why are you? You shouldn't be doing that.
It's weird. It's just
it's very weird.
It's a cultural relationship / appropriation thing.
Yeah, I always say we're all just schizophrenic. That's what Arabs. That's what Arabs are, man.
We're all bipolar.
They're all just.
All right, so we got one question here from our Instagram Live. Why do Khaleeji men not marry their type? If they like Asian, older, big women, or even men, they end up marrying family approved, then get divorced or cheat with their type.
There you go. Your answer is in your question.
Yeah.
Because they're not family approved.
They're not family approved. You think so? You think? I mean,
a lot of it has to do with
a lot of okay, fine. A lot of families right here, they want their they're family approved and whatever. But some guys they're just like, fuck it, I don't want to. Like y'all don't control me. I'll be living with my wife. I'll start a life with my wife.
But the people who do that actually do end up marrying the girl that is their type.
Yeah, but بقول لك شيء, and I see where this question is coming from. And a lot of Khaleeji men, they sort of get married to a girl that their parents approve of, and then they start cheating, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, why are you such a fucking pussy not to stand up to what your parents tell you or whatever?
I don't know.
And just say, fuck off, I'll marry whoever I want. It's my life. You have no control over it. I have a job. I'm going to build a house. I have a whatever.
That is the weirdest thing, honestly. It's that the ones that actually have their shit. Like, because I understand if you don't have your life together and you're not really confident about your life, you don't have really a job that you're secure with, you don't, that can stop you from being brave about your decisions in life. But I've seen guys that have all their shit together, but they can't do this one thing.
You know something?
Absolutely. That is so true, man. And in a way that really, really frustrates me so much. Because I have really close friends that are like that. And I'm like, dude, if you just
talk.
This one thing.
Tell your parents to fuck off.
You can do it, yeah.
I don't think...
seriously, like, as bad as that sounds,
I know it's bad, but
it's in the end, it is your life, for God's sake.
In a way, by the way, I'm gonna maybe like talk about parents here in this sense. In a way, families in the Middle East, if you don't actually resist, if you're always saying yes to everything they do, they think you're weak.
Yeah.
You have to show them. Like I told you, these guys are doctors that I know, people that they've done everything. They're straight A's through college and school, and they have their shit together. They have a fancy car. They have an amazing house, whatever it is, and they can't make their own choices in life because their parents still get away with whatever they're saying. And if it only takes one time and a couple other times before your parents are going to get used to it. Because I've seen those parents. Once the guy stands up to them, and it's like, listen, I'm going to do it my way because I earned it.
It's very natural because then that's when parents realize, exactly, he knows what he's doing. Then
now they trust you.
Yeah. But don't you think it's more society approved rather than parents approved?
What the fuck is society gonna do?
No, بس بقول لك شيء.
I think it's your family.
Okay, we have established that a girl's reputation is everything in the GCC.
Yeah.
But also a guy's reputation to some extent. لأن if a guy goes and he wants to marry a girl that he loves, for example, بس he is يعني معروف إن he's a piece of shit basically.
Yeah.
he does all the taboo stuff. He drinks, he smokes, yada yada. The father is gonna go ask a lot of people about, oh, is this guy an appropriate guy? Or the brother is gonna go ask his friends, oh, is this guy a good guy, and whatever. It's a lot of. I think it has a lot to do with society as well. Society dictates who you marry. If you're a weak person, if you're not a weak person and you resist, you're like, fuck off, I'll do whatever I want. Then that's fine.
You'll be surprised what society will get used to when you actually do what you say you're going to do, and you tell them, nope, I have my shit together. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
You don't get, and this goes back to, say, the women driving. Today I put up a poll on my story for Instagram. I was like, was anything different today? Did something change? No. And the question was, is there chaos in Saudi today? And it was actually like about almost 50-50. And people were like, yes. And I think some of them were just taking the shit because the idea is
probably.
Driving was already crap in Saudi. I mean, let's be honest. It was already crap. Adding women to the mix didn't change anything. It's not going to
make any difference,
We're going to see a lot of Saudis getting married to their types now, No, the Saudi driving.
See a lot of people
Saudi women driving.
It's happening in Saudi more because they can't afford to be bitches about it. They can't afford to have bad marriages anymore.
And noise pollution gonna go up soon, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. So for our final question, I save the best for last.
All right.
How do Khaleeji men feel when they see their nanny taking care of their kids more than the wife?
I hate that. I hate the idea of having a nanny in general. That's just me.
I hate the idea as well.
I hate the whole idea. Yeah, you know what I really hate more than that? Sorry, I knew you were thinking.
No, go ahead.
But I really hate it when I see a couple walk into like a coffee shop or restaurant and they have their nanny with them and she's the one holding the kids.
Yeah.
And they go around doing what they want. The nanny's just sitting down like holding the kids and
No.
But have you felt anything that's like, have you heard anything that's specific about, oh, I don't like my kids being...
No, it's just me.
Yeah.
I think it's just frustrating for me.
No, but OJ, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, you can't blame the woman in this. You blame the man as well.
I'm not saying I'm blaming any of them specifically.
Yeah, and you blame the couple as a whole.
I'm blaming the couple as a whole.
Yeah, how does a Khaleeji guy feel if he is willing to hire a nanny to take care of his kids? He's the one paying most of the time, right? He's the one paying her salary and whatever, so he's doing it willingly. If I see them, I don't think they're feeling anything. They're feeling martahin, they're feeling comfort, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, if I see a guy and his wife going out with their kids and the nanny's with them, I'm like, fuck you. Be a man, okay? Take care of your kids, lift them up every once in a while, and that's it. You took this responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You took this responsibility. Fucking man up to it.
And then 10 years later, you see Matruk with a nanny.
No, but so isn't the question...
You see me with a nanny.
Yeah, kid.
I was going to say, isn't the question framed differently, though? The question is asking what do Khaleeji men feel about it? So I don't know if I've personally... Like, right now we're speaking for ourselves, right? But have any of you actually heard any of your friends have an opinion about that? Like, actually personally go, you know what, no, I do want my wife to feel at comfort and I want to raise the kids or something, because I don't know, honestly.
I honestly don't know.
I can tell you from experience that some men they sort of hire a nanny because their wife tells them to.
Yeah, and they don't care either way.
And no, they don't like it.
Oh, they don't like it?
They're like, I want my wife to raise the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want my wife to raise the kids. I want my wife to be there. I want her to cook for them and whatever. Because sometimes she doesn't have a career. Well, he's the primary breadwinner in the house. And he just wants her to take care of the kids. And
so what's the wife's incentive in this? What does she want? Because I understand it. If you're a working woman, you have a 9-to-5 job, you're trying to also pursue your career, whatever it is that you're doing that's taking from your time, and you feel like you need the help. Okay, I understand. I personally don't want it for myself, but what is it with the women that actually are homemakers?
I think
they're traditional homemaker women.
I think a lot of it has to do with the prestige as well.
Yeah,
And you're like,
prestige.
you're like, I can afford a nanny.
I
So
want.
that's the other woman talking to your woman, going like,
Like, oh,
"ما عندكم خدامة?"
I want to clarify one thing.
okay.
I'm all for women, even when they're married, to have a career, to have a job, to have aspirations, like every other human being. But if you're at home doing nothing and you have 2 kids, you don't need a nanny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Your responsibility as a parent is to take care of these kids. You took on the responsibility.
But she has an Instagram business.
Exactly. Thank you, OJ. Thank you.
I will help her with the kids. Like it's a two-way street. Maybe if the guys also got involved, it wouldn't be as bad. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Maybe
I agree with that too.
It's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, it is. But I'm thinking maybe some of these women that do have 9-to-5 jobs, they're not the traditional ones that are doing it because of the prestige, like OJ said, but the ones that have 9-to-5 jobs, their men are kind of like on their asses about raising the kids, but they're also not there for the kids either.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, your job is automatically to raise the kids, and then bye-bye, I'm out.
Yeah, I think I really like just wrapping all of that up. I think regardless of any of their situation, whether they're like swamped with work or anything, in the end, you took up this responsibility to have a child.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'm just personally speaking here, I don't think having a nanny is suddenly, is the best thing to do, because we've been living for ages without having nannies.
Exactly.
People grow up fine. It's just a personal thing with me. I just think it removes, I think it takes away a lot from the child, from what parents could give them.
Yeah.
Because they need a mother figure and a father figure. And when they don't have that most of the time, when they have their nanny to look up to, not saying that nanny's it's not saying that the nanny is bad. She's just doing,
She's terrible.
That's a bad
Especially
nanny.
those goddamn Filipino ones. I avoided this whole podcast going misogynist, and I ended it with racism.
I'm talking about different kind of nanny.
Oh, God. All right.
The teenager in me still alive.
Please kill him soon.
Anyways, that's it. That's thank you guys for participating in our Instagram live. Mm-hmm. I know we're having a good argument going on here, but I think we're out of time.
We are.
Are we? Yeah.
Wrap it up.
So thank you for.
We are over an hour and 15. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 17.
Yeah, thank you for participating in our Instagram live, and look forward to more segments where we will discuss whatever comes to mind. We'll inform you, and
you help us out as well.
Yes.
You recommend some stuff.
Please do.
Now
tell us some topics.
Now I'll be traveling for a month and a half, so we'll be back in August.
No one cares, man.
Around August.
August,
Everybody cares, man. Come on. Come on. All right.
Okay, guys. This has been Bedouin Banter with Khalid Dosere. And OJ. Any plugins? Any plugs?
Plugins. I got some plugins.
You got some plugins?
I got no plugins. Do I have anything to plug? We have. Do we have the comedy night coming up?
Yes, we do. July 3rd.
July 3rd.
I think we might have mentioned it before.
Yeah, but by the time this episode's released, we'll be over and done with.
Fair enough.
Never mind.
It should have been plugged on the stream. That's
so stupid. Out of everything. Oh my god.
You learn from your mistakes, buddy.
Matruk will do it on the story.
I will.
He's on that now.
Yeah.
So get used to my face, all y'all.
Matruk is our social media manager now.
Yes, sir.
He's our marketeer. He's our PR man.
All right, Matruk.
I don't have anything yet.
Anything from you? Any plugs?
No, man. Nothing from me. Nothing from me.
All right, so I'll end it with one of my own. If you are interested in esports in any way, I've just signed on as the lead talent and talent manager for OP Network. That's Overpowered Network here, stationed in Bahrain. We are a young fledgling studio with good support from an esports company in the US, and honestly, we've been loving our time at the studio. And if you want to participate in any of our tournaments, or if you even want to roll as a caster, I'm looking for a lot of new casters. I'm training them up as well myself if I can, and I'm looking for talent and people that want to show their passion for a game that is competitive leagues at the moment, whether it be Overwatch, Fortnite, FIFA, COD, League of Legends, Hearthstone, anything comes to mind that you know and you love and you know you can speak on camera fine and you enjoy it. Come around, even if you don't, but you just lack the confidence and need the mentor, come find me. And that is OP Network .gg. All right, guys. This has been our episode of the Bedouin Banter with the Ladies Asking Khaleeji Guys segment. And we'll see you next time for more, hopefully, and ever-evolving content.